Good evening. That was my introduction. That's the didgeridoo. I hope that didn't scare you away. My name's Rob Carley, and well, this is a story in itself. Actually, why do I have a didgeridoo? You might say. I asked the same question. So it's actually not that great a story. So maybe we'll talk about more interesting stories tonight, including one from our very special guest, Kellylee Evans, who's here tonight to join us for another edition of Songs for a Blue Day. Songs for a Blue Day started in January on the Monday that is some considered to be the saddest day of the year, Blue Monday. And we decided let's not call it Blue Monday. Let's call it Songs for a Blue Day, because any day can be a song or a day where you want to hear a song or find some comfort in music. And so we started this series of events that started in January, and we did them each month. And now in the month of May, this week, as you may know, is Canadian Mental Health Awareness Week. And so we thought, well, we're going to take advantage of this important time during a pandemic, of course, to really just do our own campaign for the entire month. So we're doing a number of these types of online events. And I also want to tell you about a very exciting little campaign we have called the My Happy Song campaign. I'll get into it a little more about the details, but just know that this month there'll be a lot of activity from the Awesome Music Project. If you're just joining us for the first time, the Awesome Music Project is a charitable foundation that explores the connections between music and mental health through the sharing of stories and songs. And we fund research and projects across the country. And we do that through, well, initially we started all with a book, which is back here, called the Awesome Music Project, Songs of Hope and Happiness, which is full of 111 stories about the healing power of music. And the reason I mentioned the book tonight, because some of you are sick of hearing me talk about the book, but tonight's guest, Kellylee Evans, Juno Award-winning jazz artist, is actually featured in this book on page 97, maybe. And her story it's the only story I've ever heard about someone being hit by lightning. She's the only person I've ever talked to who's been hit by lightning. And it's quite a remarkable story, and we're going to get into that in a minute when I introduce her. But first, I want to make sure you all know that this month, if you can, have a look at our website. It's brand new. It just came out today, theawesomemusicproject.com. And then on that website, you'll find out about the My Happy Song campaign. All we're doing is if you have a song and you want to share it in hashtag My Happy Song, for each share we do, or we get, $1 will be donated to a number of charities that were listed on our website, including the Sarah McLachlan School of Music. Oh, there's some stuff there you can read about. Sarah McLachlan School of Music, Regent Park School of Music, jack.org. And I think they're all really great causes. And so all you have to do is share a song and tag us and hashtag My Happy Song. We also are doing regular donations, and you can go onto our website and you can see the donate button, and all donations will be matched dollar for dollar this month. So it's a busy month, lots going on, and I hope you join us for not just tonight, but also a number of events, which I will tell you about later. But first, let me tell you about Kellylee Evans, who grew up in Scarborough and is now, well, she travels the world when she can. Right now she can't, but she's recorded a number of records, recorded some of them in Europe, in fact, in Paris and in Belgium. She's won Juno Awards. She's been nominated for a Canadian Screen Award. She's multi-talented. I've seen her perform, and she lights up a room. So please welcome Kellylee Evans.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Did you like my didgeridoo playing, by the way?
Yeah.
You're just saying that.
I might be just saying that.
It looks prettier than it sounds. How's that?
It's only because I don't know if you're an expert, and I don't even know like what.
you don't want to you don't want to embarrass me. It's like, oh, that sounded really good, Rob.
Also, I don't know what it's traditionally used for, so I don't know if we're like appropriating something or not. I don't know. I just don't know.
Could be getting you into trouble. I don't know. There could be summoning some kind of demons or something.
I don't know, right?
Yeah, I guess I should do my research. Well, let's say I'm at my first lesson still, so I'm going to go on YouTube and do some Googling on how to play this thing, first of all.
I suspect somebody will let you know.
Someone's going to tell me right away. And speaking of which, by the way, if you're joining us on Facebook Live, please, if you have any questions or comments, please use the chat. So, Kellylee Evans, you are in our book with an amazing story about being hit by lightning, which I'm going to have you read in a minute. But before I do that, I'll just ask you, how have you been doing the last little while, and what's life like for you during a pandemic as a musician?
I spend a lot of time in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all spend a lot of time in the same rooms, don't we?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, this has been my spot, because when I had the lightning strike, but then afterwards I had another head injury. And when we moved into this house, I spent, like, my bed is right over there.
Right.
And I spent 2 years recuperating. Well, not all here, but in this bed, definitely. Yes. This bed moved from home to home, but
you've done a lot of recovery. I know that you've had 2 sort of traumatic incidents in recently, really. So let's without further ado, let's hear your story, if you don't mind. I think maybe the best would be to read it from the book. And many people know about the book. You can get it online. You can get it at Indigo or Chapters or Amazon or your local favorite bookseller, or through our website. It's called The Awesome Music Project, Songs of Hope and Happiness, and it features a great story by Kellylee Evans.
Here we go. Music has been a part of who I am for as long as I can remember. I had my first solo in kindergarten and knew instinctively that this was what I wanted to do for a living, though it took me almost 25 years to finally make music my sole focus. Then in 2013, my new career was threatened when I was hit by lightning. I didn't stop touring, but I did take a long time to acknowledge how much my body and brain had been affected by the trauma of that strike. In the process, I learned a powerful lesson: music heals. People ask me what it's like to be struck by lightning. I always say shocking, not just to be funny, but because it's true. The accident itself was freakish. I was standing in the kitchen window in my Ottawa home. It was really Ashton home, like just outside Ottawa, washing the dishes during a lightning storm. Something it turns out you are never supposed to do. When I saw a flash of light, I felt a surge go through me and everything seemed to stop. At first, the effects were hard to place. When I finally got checked out by doctors, my body movements and functions were deteriorating fast. I didn't know what to do, so I just kept moving forward. I had a big tour planned the following week and didn't want to cancel, so I just kept on traveling. It turns out I had suffered a brain injury from the jostling caused by the electrical charge. I found myself in a wheelchair, the left side of my body so weakened I couldn't coordinate my arms to roll the wheels. I couldn't cut my own food, sign autographs, or write, and I couldn't even hold my microphone for long. And at the end of every day, after many hours of pushing myself to talk to people, remember my lyrics, and perform, I would start slurring and forget the names of everyday items or objects or the people around me. The symptoms were like those of a stroke or a concussion. Without the help of my bandmates and my family and friends, I wouldn't have made it through a very challenging time when I had no idea if my body would ever function normally again. That experience changed my life in so many ways. I went from being super active and full of energy to having to learn how to slow down and listen to my body's needs. At first, I took a lot of pride in saying that I kept working through my injury. But the truth was that I didn't know how to stop, take a break, and take care of myself. I spent the past 5 years learning how to listen to my body. And counting, 5 years and counting, it's been more now. I was on vacation in the French countryside, at my guitarist's summer home, when I began to notice the power that playing an instrument can have on healing the brain. I picked up a ukulele lying near the couch and asked my guitarist to teach me the lick in one of our songs, which is a song called Désolé, off of my 2013 album, I Remember When. At first, it was so hard to even just move my fingers on the left side, much less work out how to coordinate them to learn chords. But he was a patient teacher, and I was excited to be learning something new. I spent a few days just mastering the simple pattern, and a funny thing happened along the way. My brain seemed to be working better. I was slurring less, and my memory was sharper. My mental and motor skills steadily improved over months of this therapy. I got into a rhythm of playing every day, soon moving on to a new love, the electric bass. Today, my health has greatly improved, and my bass sits mostly untouched in the corner beside my bed. And I just moved it into a case the other day because I felt so embarrassed it was still there. That is not in the book, but I'm telling you. But that doesn't change my firm belief that music heals. I don't know what I would do without it in my life. That's it, friends.
Thank you for sharing that story. I mean, there's so much in that story. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the details, if you don't mind. But I think the underlying message here, and it's something that is so much a part of what we do with the Awesome Music Project, and that is we explore how music does have that healing kind of transformative power. And in your case, I mean, it's a trauma that you experienced on many, many levels. I mean, not only was it a physical trauma, but emotionally, and just the idea of being, in recovery for so long and not being able to play or to sing. How long did it take you to get to where you are now? I mean, like, what was that? Just tell me a bit about that journey afterwards.
I could sing, I just couldn't think. And I didn't know what. I still remember like when I went to the first concert, like I couldn't even like name normal things. Yeah. So I was so afraid. The first concert was, I think, in the next week after I was hit by lightning. And I was still not even telling people what had happened. So like I arrived and my band was like, "What is wrong with you?
How are you not telling people that happened?" That's the first thing I was hoping. By the way, last week I got hit by lightning.
No, I didn't. Yeah, like I actually didn't want people to know because I'm strong. Like things don't happen to me. Like I don't get sick. I have my babies at home. Like that was my mentality. Yeah. And I was thinking like I just needed to, like I don't want. It's funny because I remember being in a session, like we were in a meeting with the folks at the label, and it was like I was like, man, I need to get famous for something, like so that it'll be easier to sell these CDs. But like I don't want it to be like for something bad. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be infamous. Yeah, but like I need to, like, what's it gonna take to kind of take my career to the next level? That was kind of like my discussion with them. And then like boom, right? And I remember getting
asking you shall receive, right?
Asking you shall receive. And I remember getting a call from my manager at the time, and they're like, "So, are we allowed to go with this story?" And I was like, "Nope."
Yeah.
I didn't want you to type Kellylee Evans and have like lightning pop up. Yeah. But that's what happened anyways.
I understand because also because you, I mean, as a performer, you don't want people to, first of all, think of that's, why they're seeing you, but also you don't want, agents and booking agents and festivals to say, "Oh, we're not sure we want to," because, there's a weakness there or something. You don't want to perceive that or have them have that perception.
Yeah. Like I had that 2013, like, so right before that happened. So that happened and I was going on tour. I was going to open for John Legend and like, I was going to like perform just before Erykah Badu at a festival. And I had plans.
Yeah.
I have plans. Like I don't need to be like not well. So, and I was the sole source of income for my family. So it was just not a matter of like, okay, well, I've just been hit by lightning. Let's take a break. That wasn't going to happen. We had no savings, nothing. So
yeah, you sound like a very resilient person. Would you say that, because when you said, I had to start to slow down, would you say that a part of your personality is a bit of a workaholic? Do you work?
Not a bit. I'm 100%. Like
I was being generous with that. Yes, I kind of suspected
but
that.
I'm not, really. I'm no longer at the point where I don't admit it. Like I'm a workaholic recovering. Like,
a recovering workaholic. I love that expression. Before I ask more questions, I'd love to get to some music. And I know you've prepared a few songs to sing. And because it's COVID and we're not able to, you're not able to perform with your band or to have, even your pianist there. So we're going to do it kind of like campfire style with you doing it a cappella, something. So tell us what you're going to sing.
I'm going to sing my happy song.
Oh, great. Yeah, so you heard my introduction about the happy song. Yeah. So the happy song, just as a little sidebar before we sing, I'm going to tell people that, like I mentioned, you can check it out on our website. But the idea is by sharing a song, it's just a very minimal little thing you can do. Just take a song that either brings you happiness or brings you hope or makes you feel good, changes your mood, whatever that might be, or has a good story to it. And share it with everyone and just say #MyHappySong. And every song that we get this month, for the month of May, $1 will be donated to the different agencies I mentioned.
Rob, help me out though. Like, where is this money coming from?
Oh, it's from donors, from sponsors.
Seriously?
Yeah, we have sponsors. We have different types of people who are benefactors, and we're directing that money to those different organizations because our focus this month is on youth. And so we're doing a concert next week on the 12th of May with the Sarah McLaughlin School of Music in Vancouver. We are going to give some money to Regent Park School here in Toronto.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they are great. And yeah, they're wonderful. And I love what they do. And, you know, our firm belief is that music does change your mental health. And something like music education is really dear to my heart and very important to us as an organization. So we feel like the work that these schools are doing with youth is so important. And Jack.org is another foundation. Eric Windler, who founded the organization with his wife, Sandra, is in our book as well. And Jack.org is Canada's only charity training and empowering young leaders to revolutionize mental health in every province and territory. So check out them as well, Jack.org. It's a really important organization that helps to dismantle barriers and encourage positive mental health with a peer group. So it's really kind of special.
And are those the sponsors that are like funding this whole project that you're working on?
No, they're the benefactors. That's where the money is going.
But I think you were telling me about another sponsor.
Oh, you mean SOCAN Foundation?
Yes,
SOCAN Foundation. They also have generously supported our efforts. So thank you to the SOCAN Foundation as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I will mention it again at the end. Thank you to the foundation for helping us out. SOCAN Foundation.
Thank you, SOCAN.
So I'm going to leave it over to you. I'm going to get off the screen, Kellylee, and you're going to sing us a song.
Okay. And once again, it's my happy song. And you know, it's one of the songs that I have to say I love singing when I'm on tour because, and I always preface it this way as well, but it's just because it's the truth. This song reminds me of how I want to feel every day of my life. And I wish the same thing for you. It's called Feeling Good. Bird flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me. Ooh, fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the trees, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Ooh, for me, dragonfly up in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies are having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this whole world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Send another pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I feel so good.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
That was really great message, great song, great intro, great performance. That was you know, when I didn't know what you were going to sing, and then when you started, you know, it makes me think of Nina Simone, who did a great version of that song. And I just somehow she's been coming up on my playlist recently. And as an artist, I find her fascinating because she is, when you see her perform, I mean, I guess we all have heard her for decades because she's so well known as a vocalist. But seeing her perform live, obviously not live, but on video, like seeing the footage of her perform, is a kind of unbelievable experience because she really is sort of moved by music. You just see her, like her energy and her, just the way her body moves and the way she plays the piano sometimes. And it's wonderful. And I know that you somehow, was it your first record or one of your records, you were inspired by something to do with her? I read something about that, about how
Yeah.
kind of, an important person in your your list of inspirations.
Yeah, that's the album that won did you know it was like a tribute to Nina Simone? So it's called Nina, and that song
It's called Nina.
on that. Yeah, that song is on that album.
Right,
and
of course.
So when I was growing up, my mom loved Nina Simone and I did not. I remember she just scared me.
Did you guys fight about it?
No, it wasn't like, it was just more like I was like the record player person.
Yeah.
And then we got a cassette tape recorder.
Yep.
And she wanted me to put all her records, her Nina Simone records, on a cassette tape so she could listen to them in her new car that had a cassette tape player. People at home were like, what is she talking about? And so I had to but the record player, it skipped. The needle was not heavy, the arm was not heavy enough. So it would skip. So I would have to keep putting it back on and then playing it again. And then it would skip. And then I'd have to rewind and restart. And it just drove me nuts to listen to over and over again. And then my ex, he also was a Nina Simone lover, and he would play her album on repeat. And that was she was so scary, to me, because she was so real,
Yeah.
And, but it was through all those repeated listenings that I became a fan, because she was so real.
Yeah. It's something about, an artist who, can polarize a bit, who sometimes, there are lots of musicians or music that I listen to now that I didn't like at first, which speaks a little bit to the artistry, because sometimes, what is art is actually something that polarizes. It makes people ask questions and makes people, when you see her perform, I know she was so intense as a performer, and that was off-putting to lots of people. It'd be like, wow, it's way too intense. And some of her songs too are really theatrical almost, she
just reminded me of my grandma. And my grandma is really intense. And so just kind of that no nonsense, strong, just not putting up with anything kind of grandma energy. And so to see that, she's just so herself and just very, very, very strong. And I think for somebody that me, who's a big people pleaser and very afraid of conflict, then to have somebody like that. So to me, there was a lot of that. So the content, it was the whole story, and just her whole personage just seemed like something could I as a person, could I as a human aspire to being that forthright and that forward and that I don't want to use, it's not militant, but it's she fought for stuff.
She's determined. She's got a very determined kind of, approach to things. It's she had her own ideas, and she was revolutionary, I think, in some ways, that's
agreed
how I would describe
it.
So tell me a bit about, okay, I don't want to talk too much about lightning anymore, but I do want to ask you about your recovery and about how music, I know in the story you mentioned the ukulele and the bass. What about, just as a music, as listening to music, did you find that it was something you could listen to, or it was something you turned off completely, or did you
turned it off. I didn't want to hear it. Yeah. And then after my second brain injury, after I hit because I fainted in 2015 and hit my head. And so that was my second brain injury. And so, Yeah, I remember like they sent me, because it was the day before this, my second album, not my second album, like my last album. I've done, I think, 6 albums, but like the last album that I did was done in 2015. And the next, I hit my head. And then the next day it was released. And then that night there were the attentats in like the mass killings in France.
Yeah.
And a lot of people at my label were killed. And so it was just like, just traumatic for me, like as a human, to like just go through my own physical injury. And then then I birthed this baby. And then, but I can't really mourn that because like actual people died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you were like worried about your friends and family, and not family, but my friends in France, you know, making sure everybody else is okay. So then like anything connected to the album, I didn't even really want to hear about it. So when they sent me the album, like as a physical copy, I did not listen to it until 2 years later. And
wow.
I didn't even really want to, like, I didn't want to hear about music. I didn't know if I was coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very important kind of point. You know, the idea that sometimes, you know, like, well, for example, we're in a pandemic, and many musicians right now, and many people right now, our lives have been changed so dramatically that there's that sense of coming back to something else. And, you know, the idea that, you know, what will next year look like, and what will the future look like? I think that's something that sometimes holds a lot of anxiety for people. And clearly for yourself, when, you know, in 2015 and 16, as you recovered from these, I guess 2 in a row, traumatic brain injuries, plus the emotional trauma surrounding those things, you know, sometimes it does feel like almost like there's so much uncertainty that it can be overwhelming, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like now I just kind of embrace the uncertainty because that's just life. So I didn't feel, I don't want to say I didn't feel shocked by the pandemic, but I didn't feel like, I felt somewhat prepared.
Yeah, you'd been through a lot.
I was like,
so.
I've done this, you know. But the only difference is like everybody around me now is also doing this, and so I feel like we can all talk together. But I can't just like flop, you know, like I have to like also be there for others. And whereas when I was sick alone, I could just kind of be the one that was sick. Now I gotta support others.
Yeah, there's something to be said too in the lyrics of the song you sang, you know, the idea of the new day, the new dawn. It's looking at just each day separately and not trying to look at the big picture, because sometimes if you look at the big picture, it can be just too overwhelming. So the idea of just looking at each day as just one thing unto itself, and just try to make that day great. And then if you happen to string a few of those together, then great. If, you know, sometimes that's impossible, but that's what we can try to do is start the day. And, you know, maybe listening, maybe that's tomorrow. I'm going to use your song. Can I do that? Can I use my happy song tomorrow? I'm going to maybe make it your song. I'm going to do more than one. You can do as many as you want, by the way. I'm going to do that one because it's a really great message. And I really appreciate you singing that. I am going to get you to sing another song, but before you do, I did want to ask you about, well, I guess I won't ask you about your plans because we don't know what the plans are. But you do have, I know you're trying to do some online stuff. And so people should check you out where, I guess, kellyleeevans.com, music.
Yeah. No, kellyleevans.com. And then Kellylee Evans Music is my Instagram. And at Kellylee Evans is my Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah. Follow along Facebook. Check her out. You can listen to her records. They're great records. And then I can't wait to see you live again. And I'd love you to be involved in an Awesome Music Project event at some point.
Isn't this what it is?
No, I meant to say a live event. I meant to say.
Oh, yeah. Like, but aren't we doing it right now?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And it's music and it's a project.
Yeah, for sure. It would be good to have something live. So before we go, I just want to say again, thank you. And I just want to remind everyone that you can go to our website and get more information. And all we ask you to do is to share your stories, support us, and donate if you can. And every dollar is matched. And every share with the hashtag My Happy Song is a dollar a donation, which is wonderful. Kelly Evans, what do you say about doing the dishes by the lightning nowadays?
I love my dishwasher. I love my dishwasher. I didn't have a working dishwasher back then.
Do you ever get frightened in storms now? Like,
I had to do like some EMDR, like some eye movement desensitization, whatever, for that.
yeah,
So I had to do some therapy, some processes, because yeah, it's scary.
it is scary. I mean, I know that some people are frightened by storms without having your history, just because sometimes they're horrific. You know, the sound.
Yeah, I had to get help for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you're doing well, and I'm so glad you're singing so beautifully, and I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us tonight. Um, what are you going to sing to take us out?
Well, this song is it's funny because when I wrote this song, it was post lightning strike, pre head injury, and then pre like all this other stuff, you know? So, and I just assumed that, I mean, you said that I'm resilient, and I agree. Like, and that is like one of my, I do speak a lot for different organizations, and I talk about resiliency and like getting that is my superpower, you know? And the only way that I know that is because I'm still here. So this song is also for everybody else out there that has ever gone through anything. And I mean, that's just basically everybody, right? So the people
Yeah,
that are going through things have gone through things and are still here. And that if we're still here, it just means that we're unbreakable.
that's an awesome message. At the end of the song, I'm not going to come back on again. So I just want to say goodbye now and thank you very much. And again, thank you to SoCal Foundation for supporting us, and thank you to everyone for listening in. And you know, we have events all month planned, including next week with Sarah McLaughlin School of Music in Vancouver. The following week with Scott Hellman and Bob Egan are going to be here. We have Mr. What's he called? Mr. Cuisine. I forget his. Ryan Hinkling is going to be here.
Will he be cooking? Singing?
He's not going to be cooking, but oh, there he is. There he is. Ryan Hickson. Pardon me, Mr. Eat Famous. That was his name. Pardon me. And Loud Luxury is going to be here at the end of the month. So we've got some great guests lined up, and it's going to be a great month. So please come back. And again, thank you, Kellylee Evans, for taking the time tonight. And I'll say goodbye now. And
thank you, Rob,
farewell.
Carly.
Okay.
And to Guillermo in the backstage. And yeah, just thank you so much to everybody that's here and to all of the sponsors and everybody that has been supporting this project. It is an awesome project all about music. I think they should call it the Awesome Music Project. I gave my heart, I gave my time, gave my time. I gave my mind, won't give the spark, give the spark, 'cause I'm not cold, still bold, I love it from the start. Still dare, still care, I'm a warrior of the heart. Unbreakable, unbreakable. I close my eyes, I'm not crawling back. Yes, I know tonight won't call down falling. 'Cause I'm not cold, still bold, I love her from the start. Still there, still care, I'm a warrior of the heart. Unbreakable, unbreakable. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. Oh, I'm not afraid to open my heart. I'm not afraid to open my heart. I'm not afraid to restart. Ooh, unbreakable, 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 unbreakable. Mm. Good night, everyone.